Hey, what's up? It's DeHuff. It's another episode of DeHuff Uncensored presented by my good friends over at Burns and McCoy. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you find your podcast. And then make sure you share it with your friends. And then if you're able, go ahead and give it a nice review. All right. We're going to get into some crazy headlines today. A guy that was experiencing a medical condition and waited 2 years to say anything. Classic guy. But when you hear what it is, you're going to be like, dude, like that happens the first time you go and tell somebody immediately. And then some kids in Boston, they're experiencing, a very interesting trip to school. Let's just say that, or field trip. Anyway, but first, do yourself and your family and your friends a favor. Grab some Burns and McCoy. They got amazing hot sauce. They got amazing dressings, mustards, salsas, margarita mix, Bloody Mary mix. Amazing stuff. Amazing products. Burns and McCoy is a family-run business. Their goal is to bring you only the best products made with the finest ingredients. Food should be fun, and they provide that fun with each unique flavor profile they offer. Trust me, they're amazing. I love it. They're available at all grocery stores in the Front Range, or check them out at burnsandmccoy.com. Before we get into some headlines, I went to a Colorado Rockies game for the first time this season, as the season's winding down. Nate Lundy from over at Mile High Sports, who I'm connected with here via the podcast, he had, some tickets. He's all, hey, you want to come hang out with us? And like, sure. Free booze? He didn't offer to buy me drinks, but I assume if you're inviting me somewhere, that's what's going to happen, right? Free booze. So go meet at a place called Tap 14, which is just down the street from Coors Field. And yes, he was buying. Oh, I had one of the best non-smoked old fashions. Usually I'm all about getting a smoked old fashioned, but the Tap 14 has an amazing old fashioned. Oh my God. It was so good. I decided, you know what? Let's just do two. Oh, so good. But it was fun hanging out. But what I realized is, so I go to the game, and I got a burger. I had to get a burger. They have great fries over at Coors Field. I was very impressed with the French fries. I didn't get a hot dog. I should have got a hot dog, hindsight, just because that's what I experienced. But I was kind of grossed out. One of the guys, I can't remember his name, and I feel awful because I was just meeting a lot of these guys over at Mile High Sports for the first time. One of the guys there had 2-foot-long hot dogs that he demolished during the game. 2. That's disgusting. And of course, he's like skinny as like a toothpick. Like how? Eventually, that's not going to work for you. Eventually, your metabolism's going to give you the middle finger and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you're going to bloat. Yeah. So get ready, little shit, eating 2 gigantic hot dogs. But they looked delicious. But I ended up getting a burger. It was amazing. I had a good time. But the Rockies lost. Not that I was... I remember like looking up because I was talking and having a good time. And then I'm like, oh, shit, it's the 7th inning. I'll be damned. Who knew? But what I realized is I didn't get home until like 11:30. There's traffic and shit like that leaving. I was destroyed the next day. As in, like, I was just so exhausted. I can't handle that shit anymore. That's way past my bedtime. Because my kids don't care that I was out late. They had to get up and go to school. So I got like 6 hours of sleep. It was kind of like a flashback to my radio days where I'd get jack shit for sleep. But I can't handle that shit. I am a wuss. I am a big wuss when it comes to lack of sleep. Anyway, I'm fine now. Hopefully. All right, let's get into some headlines. All right, there was a guy who, he's 33 years old, ends up showing up to get to the hospital because he's having some problems. He's having some pain in one of his testicles. For 5 days, he had pain in his testicles. Then he also decides to drop on everybody there, the doctors and nurses. Oh, by the way, uh, I've been urinating and ejaculating out of my rectum for the previous 2 years. Just throwing that in there. I don't know if that's a problem. I don't. You might want to look into it. I don't know. What? Could you imagine being the doctors that you're like, what the fuck? Wait, you've been, huh? Yeah. For 2 years, this dude has been experiencing that. And it's not like this is the first time this has ever happened. Apparently, it can happen. And here's the gross thing too. He was passing gas through his urine. So there was like things like some of the urine was going out the right way and some of it wasn't. So he was all jacked up in there. All jacked up. But good thing he only waited 2 years. What the okay. To me, that's a day one thing. Oh my God. I just peed out of my ass. I'm going to the doctor. And my doctor's going to be like, oh my God, thankfully you came in right away so we can fix this. Here's what happened. I guess this guy, like 2 years ago, when this, 2 years ago, he was in a coma for a drug overdose. And what they had to do is they had to jam in that catheter. And somehow, when they did that, they messed something up. And it caused the body to reheal inappropriately. They damaged something in there and blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, he's peeing out of his butt. But again, guys, if it's funny because but that being said, I'm kind of guilty of it too, of dragging my feet on going to the doctor because I don't want to go to the doctor for every little tiny thing. It took me like a year before, like I couldn't bend because my hip was all jacked up. I didn't want to go to the doctor. I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm just being a wuss about it. But I remember one of the things right before I decided to go to the doctor, my wife there was something on the steps, or like there's that little landing area in between sets of stairs, whatever that's called, the landing. I don't know. But I couldn't pick it up. It was like a shirt. She's like, why do you keep fucking walking by that? Pick it up. I'm like, I can't. I can't bend over to pick it up. She's like, if you can't bend over to pick up a shirt, you need to go to the doctor, you dipshit. Those are probably exact words that she used. So I'm like, fuck, that's kind of a good point. So then I go to the doctor and I have like torn labrum in my hip and all that shit. Then had to have hip surgery to get it fixed. But it's kind of like this guy though. So he must not have somebody that was just like, dude, hey, by the way, you're peeing and ejaculating out of your butt. You should probably see a doctor, right? I mean, come on. That he would have to sit down every time for anything. That's just, oh, it's awful. Here's the thing, guys. Just go to the doctor. You're not a pussy if you go to the doctor. I know a lot of people that I used to work with, Mark, that, looks down on people that go to the doctor, me, because he broke my ribs. And then, off air, he's actually very kind about it. But on air, boy, he was relentless when he broke my ribs and, giving me shit for it. But I didn't want to go to the doctor. I remember talking to him when Schlereth broke my ribs for a video that we did. I mean, keep in mind, this guy is like 200. At the time, he was probably like 265. Just muscle, a little bit of fat, but mostly muscle. And then when he body slammed me and my ribs landed on his hand and they broke my ribs, I mean, it was excruciating pain. I had never experienced broken ribs before. So I didn't know how it felt. And then I had to go do a video shoot with me and a lady named Kendall Valenzuela, and we went around Denver, and I had to go up Red Rocks. I ran up Red Rocks with busted ribs. I went in front of Casa Bonita, and I was doing push-ups with her on my back in excruciating pain just for a video so I could get Casa Bonita in the background. I don't. It was for like something that like a spin on training camp or something like that, or the combine. I don't know. It was something dumb like that. But I'm like busted ribs and everything like that, and I like maybe I'm just being a wuss. Maybe it's just bruised. And then eventually it got to the point, especially when the adrenaline stopped, and I go home and I'm like, this fucking hurts. So I go to the hospital, and sure enough, yeah, busted ribs. But if I'm urinating out of my butt and farting out of my my junk, I'm going to the doctor. Like, no doubt. Be like, oh, this is happening, honey. Watch the kids. I gotta go. Right? Right? I'm not out there on this, right? I'm not on an island all by myself, right? Ladies, guys, if anything like this is happening to you, you're going to the doctor immediately. Whew. I could only imagine my doctor would be like, dude, you fucking waited 2 years to come in? Are you serious? You're stupid. He would probably tell me that. You are an idiot. Thanks. But yeah, I would be an idiot for not going in. I remember, I'll tell you this real quick about my doctor. I love my doctor, Dr. Yeesh. Great guy. Funny, but knows his shit. Like, insane. Super smart. But, like, I sent him a message because they have this app where you can just ask questions and stuff. So I had busted my ribs twice, and he was kind of laughing when I came in the second time because I had fallen, and I that sounds like I'm really old. I was trying to play football with my kids, and I fell, tripped, because my hip went out. Oh, my God. I have a hot fucking mess. Anyway, I busted my ribs. Later found out I ended up, actually, another time I broke my wrist. Anyway, so I sent him a message because I didn't really want to go in there, and because I fell through, I think I told you guys when I fell through my attic and landed on that attic entrance thing, that like the wooden box, I just fell straight on that and landed on my stomach and my ribs. And I'm like, hey, by the way, I went to the hospital last night and I have, a couple broken ribs and whatever, everything's fine. But I just want to let you know for your records. And he's like, you seriously need to stop. Stop getting hurt. Sorry, doctor. Yeesh. I'm an idiot. So anyway, yeah. But I don't like to go to the doctor, but geez, man. Some people. All right. We're going to get into what happens when when you have a bus shortage. Okay? And maybe you'll see mom at work. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Get into that. But first, do you like to grill? We love it here. I'm all about propane. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And our friends over at Cinch, they do propane home delivery. They come to your house, pick up your used tank, and leave a fresh tank at the location you select, whether it's your driveway, doorstep, or porch. Super simple. New Cinch customers right now get their first tank exchange delivered for just $10 when you use the promo code MILEHIGH, all one word, at checkout. Go to cinch.com, CYNCH.com, enter your zip code, order your tanks, select a delivery date, and then use that promo code MILEHIGH, all one word, at checkout, and you're good. And you send out your used tanks for exchange, and boom. Super simple. Again, go to cinch.com, CYNCH.com, and use that promo code MILEHIGH, all one word, at checkout. All right, so there was a bus driver shortage, and that led to some students going on a field trip in Boston, to have to use a bus that has stripper poles and neon lights in it. Yeah. These are like 8th graders, so they know what the hell's going on. It's not like little kids and they're like, huh, mommy has one of these in her room. This practice stripper poles. Listen, I'm not knocking strippers. I think, side note, I think prostitution should be legal. And I'll tell you why. It's going to make it safer for everybody. Don't tell me sex work isn't real work, because it is. Right? But you make it safer for everybody involved if you make it legal, right? For the workers, for the people that are secretly going and cheating on their spouses. You're making it safer for everybody. Less likely to get diseases spread around. I just, and then tax the shit out of it. Right? Tax the shit out of it. What is the harm in it? There isn't. There isn't. Make it legal. I'm Scott DeHuff, and I approve this message for prostitution to be legalized. Boom. You're welcome. Anyway, but strippers, strippers are quote unquote in a different category. But how funny would that be? You're in 11th grade, you're horny as shit. And then all of a sudden you get on a bus to go on a field trip and there's stripper poles and neon lights. All right, direct your attention to center pole. Cinnamon is here, and she is late for school. She'll do anything to get no tarty slip. Yeah. Please try the veal. I don't know. I've heard that strip clubs have amazing buffets. Is that true? I've been to one strip club in my life, and it was the weirdest experience for me. I'm not really into going to see that. I just don't get the appeal, but maybe you do. So it was funny because when I worked at the radio station, this was a long time ago, completely different set of individuals that worked there. Well, word got around that I had never been to a strip club, and we had a meeting at the station later that night at like say 6 o'clock or something like that. So I got off work at say 3 o'clock. So a bunch of the guys are like, let's take DeHuff to a strip club. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And so they take me to the strip club. And it's fine. I had no money to spend. So the guys were just giving tips, and I didn't get a lap dance or anything like that. But what was funny, okay, two things. One, it was sad to go look at, there was this older gentleman at like the bar, and he's like shelling out like cash to this girl, and she's just like grinding on him and all this stuff. And he's like, you can tell that it's like he has this connection with her. He's in love, and he feels it from her too. Then he runs out of cash, and then she's like, moves on to the next guy. And I'm like looking at the old guy, and I'm like, oh my God, that's somebody's grandpa. That's somebody's grandpa. It's okay, grandpa. Does grandma know where you're at? Guessing not. It was the saddest thing I've seen in a long time was that. I was like, oh my God. But then what was funny too is we're at this, there's a couple tables, and we kind of pushed them together, and we're all chit-chatting. And my buddy Spencer's on the other side, and he has a stripper come up to him, and she is talking to him. And he starts yelling at me across the tables. He's like, DeHuff. Finally, I notice what he's trying to get my attention. He's like, and so they're both looking at me, and He goes, she wants to know if you want a personal massage with full release for what was it? It was $20. For $20, basically get a hand job for $20. And so, as he says, for $20, she puts up her hands like, huh? And kind of tilts her head like, huh? That's a great deal. And it was it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So he's like, hey, do you want a massage with full release? Huh? For $20? Huh? That's a heck of a deal, huh? $20 hand jobs. Yum. Delicious. It's gonna get you feeling great. It was the it was the weirdest thing. Man, they must have been struggling. I mean, I don't know. I don't get that. And I did not partake. Okay, I did not partake. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. Uh, I just don't. I can do that myself. I don't. I don't need to pay somebody to do it. Come on, really, people, really. But hey, if you're into that, that's fine. And like I said before, I'm Scott DeHuff, and I approve this message because I believe prostitution should be legal. If you want to pay to get a hand job, go ahead. As long as the price is right for you, it's all right with me. Prostitution. Get your HJ no matter where you are at. Bing, ding, 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 ding. I'm sure some people are listening. You're like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Yeah, but you know what? Guys are willing to shell out that money. I went to a bachelor party, and there was two ladies that were stripping and whatever. And I remember this guy comes up to me. He's like, because at the time I was single, and the guy's like, "Dude, can I borrow money?" Apparently, I was the only one that wasn't like, you know, doing anything. Like I was just like holding on to my money. I'm like, it doesn't, whatever. And so I was like, I was kind of like this guy shelling out money. I'll be like, okay, I'll give you money, but you gotta pay me back. Okay, okay, I'll do. Duff, I swear, I'll pay you back. Okay, if you don't, I don't want to be you. Okay, so I'd give out money to these guys, and they'd go get their lap dances. And I remember one guy comes crawling back. He's like, "Hey man, can you give me some more, man?" Dude, she is so into me. She's so into me. I'm like, man, come on. She's a stripper. She's just playing you. I don't. No. It's different, man. It's different. Like, dude, no, I'm not giving you any more money, you idiot. It was so funny. Oh, ladies, you can make $1 million in a night, I'm sure. And good for you. Nobody's gonna be paying me money to take off my clothes or pretend to take off my clothes. Put your clothes back on. Sorry. I don't want to put my clothes back on. Well, you need to. I'd be the worst stripper. I was my brother. Who was it? No, it was this lady was telling me. Not my brother. This lady was telling me that she went to a bachelorette party, and they couldn't stop laughing at the male stripper because he was just like going around trying to hump things. Like that was his thing. That was his shtick. Like there's Todd. There's Todd. He's just humping the shit out of everything. Go get him, Todd. Look at him. Is he humping the banister? Yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to pay you, by the way, Todd. All you did was hump my furniture and ladies' shoulders. My God, that'd be hard unless you do. All right, it's time for the big reveal. Helicopter. Be like, is that a helicopter? I'll be damned. Huh. Just looks like it's kind of moving. Oh, sorry, Todd. It's okay. Not everybody can be big swinging Ted. Anyway, All right, it got weird in this episode. Real quick, since 2010, Terrapin Care Station has been providing patients and customers with premium cannabis products at low prices. With online ordering, you can quickly and conveniently get your order. For up-to-date products and promotions, head to terrapincarestation.com or come visit one of their 6 convenient Colorado locations. They have an incredibly friendly and professional staff who will help you find the cannabis products that are right for you. Whether it's one of their dispensaries or just around town, you'll always feel welcomed and cared for. You're free to be you at Terrapin, not just because you love weed, but because at Terrapin, weed loves you back. Terrapin, flower to the people. I said that funny. Flower to the people. Flower to the people. All right, let's put a bow on this. If you start farting out of your junk or peeing out of your anus, see a doctor. That's what they're there for. And they can fix it. That guy ended up having to have surgery to fix. Oh, my God. Still blows my mind. Guys, make sure there's no more bus driver shortages because otherwise your kids, your students, are going to be going on a field trip with a stripper pole. And then that opens up a whole nother can of worms because next thing you know, your kids are, Dad, it was really weird. I found your wallet on this bus. What the fuck? Yeah, it was one of those buses with neon lights and, a couple of poles in the middle. I don't know. Poles were all a little bit, greasy, but meanwhile, the mom's like, excuse me, what the fuck? Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to DeHuff Uncensored. I truly, truly appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, however you're listening to it or watching it. Make sure you share it. Thanks to Burns and McCoy. Check them out at burnsandmccoy.com. Thanks to Cinch. Go to cinch.com, cynch.com. Use that promo code MILEHIGH at checkout to get that first tank exchange for only $10. Thank you so much to the new sponsor of Blake Street Tavern. Go check them out. Blake Street Tavern. Oh, amazing food. Amazing food. And Terrapin Care Station. Go to terrapincarestation.com. That's spelled TERRAPAN, carestation.com. It's DeHuff Uncensored. Let's keep moving forward. We'll talk to you next.